In this video, I spent 100 days on OneBlock Minecraft. If you're unfamiliar with OneBlock Minecraft, you simply spawn in a regenerative OneBlock and you use the resources you get from the block to survive. There are also different phases, and the last phase is the end portal. How far will I be able to get in 100 days, and what adventures await me? You are going to have to watch the video to find out. Also, if you enjoy my videos or you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to reach 500 subs before the year ends. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I started the day by just following the instructions and punching the block below, hoping I don't fall off and die. Then I got a chest which gave me an apple and an egg. I was low-key disappointed, but I kept on mining anyways. I then converted my wood to planks, and I used the planks to expand my platform because I was tired of staying in one block and I needed more space. That's what my ex told me the last time we saw each other. I kept on digging and then my ex spawned. I was kind of startled at first, but then I was happy because I wasn't alone anymore. I made my first crafting table and also expanded the area so that my ex would have even more space, and I went back to mining. I got another chest which gave me some saplings, and I planted them so that I can get more wood to expand my area and give my ex all the space she needs. After breaking the chest, I got a warning reminding me that if I fall, I lose all my valuables. You didn't have to tell me twice. I placed the chest and stored all my stuffs in it. Looking back, I don't even know why I did that, because I barely had anything to lose. Then I made myself some basic tools and kept on mining. I got a chest with a water bucket, and I used the water to place a block underneath the infinite block. That way blocks like gravel and sand won't fall when I break it. I then got this homosexual looking chest, and it only gave me 5 wood, a sapling and a torch. After breaking it, I got an upgrade and I entered the next phase, which was the plains. I was using it to just generate blocks and mobs in the plains biome, so I was expecting more mobs to spawn. And after digging for a while, my ex's best friend spawned. I tried moving them away so that they don't block me, but they were too stubborn, so I just let them have their way. I then got some chickens, a cow, and a sheep. And after a while, I got tired of my eggs and my giggle bodies just disturbing the peace. So I made some fences and tried moving them there, but then I miscalculated and my ex-best friend fell off. She was not happy with me. I thought that fat body would take up more than one block, but that was a rookie mistake. I just went back to mining. I got another chest with more apples and a grass block, and then I got another upgrade, which was the underground. That meant I can now get ores and stones to make stone tools and get rid of these peasant tools. When mining, 2 zombies spawned and I started panicking, but I ended up locking myself with defense gates and taking them out easily. That was when I realized I was playing in normal difficulty, and I increased it to hard difficulty because I ain't no punk. And after switching it to hard difficulty, I couldn't find my ex again. That's how she is, always leaving me when things get hard. Also, just to clarify, if you can't tell by now, I was joking with the whole ex thing. I don't even have an ex.
What?
And I continued expanding my platform, chopping down more wood and planting more trees. A mushroom cow then spawned, and I was happy because life was good. But my joy was cut short when this demonic mob spawned. I took him out pretty easily and kept on mining. Then a spider spawned, some rabbits, and a zombie. I also got a chest with strings and coal. I decided to trap the animals in the cage, but I didn't want them to fall off again. So I grabbed my bone, made bone meal, and grabbed my grass block to try to get wheat seed by bone milling the grass block and breaking it, but I was unlucky. So I made a composter and got some more bone meal from watermelons. I eventually got the wheat seed, I expanded the area a little bit, made some fences and placed them, and I used the seed to lure the chickens into their their little home. I tried getting more bone meal to get more wheat, but it wasn't enough, so I just went back to mining. I had an idea on how to get more bone meal, so I made a furnace, smelted off some iron, and made shears to grab some leaves. I then used the leaves on the composter and got more bone meal. I was finally able to get wheat, so I chopped down some wood, made even more space, and trapped the rest of the animals in their their little home. And it won't bother me anymore as I keep mining. I smelted more iron and made my first iron tools and a shield. Now I was feeling confident I can take on any mob. I was very tempted to shear these guys to get some wool so that I can finally make a bed, but then they won't be able to get the wool back because there's no grass for them to feed on. So I decided to make 2 pieces of wool from my strings and shear one of the sheep because I can always breed them and their kids will produce wool. Well, I got the whole 3 from just one sheep. What the heck? I ended up wasting my very limited strings. Anyways, I made a bed and placed it down, and now I can finally rest my very tired behind and avoid the phantoms. I then got another upgrade, and this time it was the Icy Tundra. Not going to lie, I didn't really know what to expect other than a bunch of ice and snow, but I kept on mining. Then this skeleton spawned, but I just slapped him off my platform. I kept mining, and then Lionel Messi, sorry, I meant a goat spawned. The reason I changed my mind about a minute Lionel Messi is because I have a feeling I meant another goat will spawn, and so just be weird to like breed them together with those names. Anyway, I took him to the cage and went back to mining, and then this white foxes spawned. They were very adorable and I wanted to keep them. Tried trapping them with death blocks, but they skipped and I just planted some berries to feed them. And I saw the goat outside and I was kind of confused on how it got out, but I brought it back into the cage and it showed me exactly how it went out. I doubled defenses and hope that now it won't be able to jump off, but it just killed the first like my younger self tried to retrieve my ball from my neighbor's house. I ended up making some lead and I just tied it to the fence. I used the last lead on the fox. I then made a bunch of slabs. I used them to mark an area that I intended to use for my base. This Thanos looking chicken then spawned in and my fox started going crazy. I just dragged him out of there so he doesn't try to kill the chicken. Then I lured it into his little home. I noticed my mountain goat was gone and I was wondering where it went to. But then I saw it just hanging over there. I must have taken it there by accident. I tried bringing it back, but turns out goats can't swim. I just left him there. I chopped down some trees and went back to mining. While I was mining, a wolf spawned and immediately went and killed my fox. I was disappointed at his bad behavior, so I put him in a leash and I was worried that he was going to join the mountain goat down there. So I brought him close to my little animal home. I then put all the stuffs I mined in a chest and went back to mining. I got a chest with some bones and I used it to tame the wolf. I'm going to call the wolf Cornelius. I don't know why I'm calling it Cornelius, it's just a random thing that came to my head and I like the name. Then I got this tanned pig and I just leashed him to the fence. This skeleton tried to kill me but I showed him who's boss and I got a chest with snowballs and ice. I simply placed the 2 pieces of ice and when they melted, I used the water to make an infinite water source. Chopped down some wood, went back mining and I got another best friend. Then the polar bear spawned in and I trapped him just in case I wanted to build some kind of Arctic biome land thingy later in the future. And I got a chest that gave me a carrot and a potato. And just when I thought things were starting to look good for me, I got this message. I didn't know what to do, so I started by shielding myself, but the moles were just too much for me and I made a run for it. I tried to bridge up but I only had one chest and I ended up getting killed. I respawned and brought my wolves to fight with me, but one of them ended up getting pushed off the platform and I ended up getting killed again. I was pissed, so I took out the zombie and I gave the skeleton a taste of his own medicine by pushing him off the platform. I know it was the zombie that pushed the dog off the platform, but I don't care, I just wanted to push something off the platform. But thankfully Cornelius was safe and my stuff was safe as well. I took my remaining wheat and I used it to breed the sheep and I killed the one without wood and it to get some meat for Cornelius and myself. But then I remembered wolves eat rotten flesh, so I picked it up and gave it to Cornelius. But he was super picky. Tried again and I still didn't show those floating heart stainings that shows when a wolf eats a food. So it was after I gave him a piece of lamb chops that I realized what he was doing. This brother wanted to eat more food. I got another upgrade and this time it was the ocean. I guess to just be a bunch of ocean blocks and ocean animals in this phase. And I was right because a squid spawned. I tried saving it with the water bucket but it died. I was really sad. I gave it a befitting burial and I went to chop down my trees and expand my tree farm. After that, I work on a food farm so that I can grow some wheat and some potatoes as well. I then went back to mining and an axolotl spawned. I put him in a little pond near my tree farm and went back to mining. Then 2 dolphins spawned and I wanted to trap them, but I didn't really know what I was doing and the last of everyone ended up like the mountain goats. I tried towering up to bring them back, but the dolphin ended up dying and only the goat was rescued. I then trapped them in a dead prison so that I don't end up jumping off the platform again, and I got my first diamonds. I kept on mining and then this guy spawned. I didn't really know what to do because I've never faced them before. After they hit me with one of those water rasain guns, I knew I had to retreat or I would die. I ended up killing one and the other one jumped off the platform by itself. I got a tropical fish but I forgot that axolotls are one racist kind of fish, so it ended up dying. I then got a chest with a trident and I was feeling like Poseidon from God of War. You challenge me, fox? Oh God of Olympus? I definitely didn't miss my shot and I felt like Santa Monica Studios should have hired me to be the voice actor of Poseidon. Not only would I absolutely crush my lines, but they wouldn't have to pay me a lot of money because I probably would have done it for like bread and akara with chilled sub-zero bottle of Pepsi. I didn't know how the fox ended up in my chicken prisons and it started to Itachi all of my chickens, so I had to kill it. I then made my first set of armor and I was feeling pretty confident. Luckily I knew a few summoning jutsu and I brought back some baby chickens to life and I went back to mining. After mining for a while, I decided to go work on my house, so I cleared up all the planks I placed before, chopped some wood and built my base. It's not exactly the best looking house, but it will do for now. I then planted some more crops and these wannabe dragons kept disturbing me, so I went to bed. The next day I planted some more trees, cooked up some chicken and smelted some ores. Kept on mining and I got a puffer fish. He did not like me, so I put him in a water bucket and left him in a chest. I placed the cod and the tropical fish in this little pond I made, but the axolotl wanted to kill them both, so I had to put him on timeout. Then the tropical fish tried committing suicide, but I saved it. You have to admit that was a pretty cool save. I placed him back in the pond, I went to grab a bucket of water, but then he jumped out again and died. I was really sad, so I gave him a proper burial and went back to mining. Another fish then spawned and I kept it in the bucket. I then decided to place glass blocks on the edges of the pond, that way they don't drop off and die. I then returned the axolotl back to his own pond and I went back to mining. These two drowns then spawned and started attacking me, and because I was close to my crafting table and my furnace, anytime I tried to use my shield, I ended up either using the crafting table or the furnace, and I ended up dying. It was incredibly frustrating, and I think Minecraft knew, because for some reason their attack dealt no damage to me at all. I killed them really easily, got my stuffs and went back to mining. I then used cobblestone slabs to surround the one block and make some sort of pathway connecting to my tree farm and my food farm. I would have made pathways to my base, but I was running out of cobblestone, so I went back to mining. I did a bunch of boring stuffs in this ocean phase, so here's just a quick summary of what happened. This guy spawned again, but they weren't really an issue because they fell off the platform. Then another dolphin spawned and I kept it in my tree farm. After that I got another monster party, and here's the quick summary inside this quick summary. Yeah, they ended up killing my wolf and also lost my dolphin, so double loss for me. I then made more cobblestone slabs and made a little platform around my base. Got another dolphin and this time I kept it inside my base. Got a tropical fish, a musical chest tinny, another puffer fish, another axolotl and a glue squid. I harvested and planted some more crops, fed my animals, and after what felt like an eternity, I finally got an upgrade. Finally I can leave this boring ocean phase. The next upgrade was the jungle phase and I was feeling very positive about it, so I began mining. A parrot then spawned and I tried taming it, but it kept flying under the platform. I left it and went back to mining. Then a witch spawned and Broski thought life was all sunshine and rainbows until I began to put belts to us. I don't know why some Minecraft players are afraid of witches, just rush them, they're very weak when it comes to close combat. I then made some fences and placed them to act like a support for this platform in my base. And then I made a little storage area in my base and just spent a really long time sorting my items into 6 different double chests. It was really painful. I was also able to tame the parrot as well. I kept on mining and this time 2 witches spawned. Took care of them quickly, went back to mining, and then this zombie looking skeleton spawned. Looked like Swamp Thing from Temu. It was kind of tricky, but it was not much for me at all. I then chopped down some trees and went to bed. I then increased my tree farm and made another platform to plant my carrots. Then I ended the day by chopping some more wood. The next day I decided to work on my animal farm because it was extremely unorganized, so I brought the chickens to my base and went to work. After I was done organizing the animals, I went back to mining the one block and I got 2 horses. I used my only leg to tie one to a fence and I just let the other one roam the platform. Then I got the panda and for some reason I couldn't use a lead on it, so I just put his fat butt in the boot and kept it in my tree farm. I added an extra platform for my mountain goats, and since they like to jump a lot, I used slabs to make some sort of roof so that they won't be able to jump off again. Then I brought them to their little home, I gave them some wheat and then they made love and this little guy was born. I then used the opportunity to feed the rest of my animals, cleared up this mess and went back to mining. I got another parrot and I took a particular liking to this guy, mostly because it's blue, so I tamed it and took it to my base. I went back to mining and then this guy spawned. I quickly went to my base to regen and I went outside to run the ones because I ain't no punk. I ended up killing it without any stress at all, went to the farm to harvest some wheat, but this wannabe dragons kept disturbing me, so I knew it was time to go to bed. After harvesting and replanting my wheat, I realized that I didn't have a bow and some arrows. I chopped down a whole bunch of wood with a platform and began working on the mob farm to not only get me a bunch of resources like bows and arrows, but also to act like some kind of XP grinder that I can use to enchant my stuffs. I gave it a test and oh my god, it was incredibly efficient. I harvested my crops, fed my animals and kept on grinding the mob farm. And after getting a bow and a few arrows, I decided to get back to mining. While mining, this guy spawned and jumped me. I quickly ran to my base and tried to regen, but they killed me. I wasn't going to let that slide obviously, so I geared up and went to get my get back. Killed them really easily and went back to mining. Then a monster party happened and I made a strategic retreat to my house and tried to snap them from my base, but my aim was extremely terrible. I felt like one of those bad guys in this action movie trying to take down the main guy. I had to go down and use my sword to take them out, and I was proud of myself. This was the first monster party that I didn't die. I felt like I won the Champions League. Anyways, I went back to mining, and here's a quick summary of what happened, because nothing really exciting happened throughout the rest of this phase. I grinded the mob farm for a while, ended up getting a decent bow. I got another panda and I took it to meet his fellow panda. More horses spawned, but I didn't need them, so I just Itachi'd them, and finally I got a chest with some diamonds and bamboo, and I got another upgrade. The next phase was the red desert phase, and bruh, I just had a feeling this was going to be the most boring phase ever. A phase even more worse than the ocean phase. Anyways, I began mining and I became curious to know what would happen if I smelted red sand. I was happy to get glass because now I no longer need to use my regular sand for glass anymore. I kept on mining and then a llama spawned. I just put him on my tree farm, put some face gates so he wouldn't get out, and went back to mining. I then remembered from a Cookie God's OneBlock video that a villager was supposed to spawn in this phase, so I made a little area for the villager and I became even more hopeful about this phase. Maybe it wasn't so bad after all. Also, just to clarify, while recording this video, I haven't watched like the whole Cookie God's OneBlock series. I stopped watching at this phase because I didn't want any more spoilers. But after this video, I'm going to try and watch everything. After I was done with the villager area, I realized I would need a bunch of beds for the villager to breed. So I replaced all the slabs in my sheep farm with dirt blocks, and I thought I could bone new dirt blocks to get grass blocks because I didn't have any grass block with me. But I was wrong. I just harvested my crops, fed my animals, and went back to mining. I got an armadillo and this pillager spawned, and I already knew what I was getting in the monster party. I then noticed I didn't light up my tree farm and some mobs spawned there, and I just used them for target practice. I kept on mining and then my first villager spawned. His name was Henry and I was super happy to see him. So I just put him in a boat and took him to his little breeding home. I left him in the boat, planted some trees and went back to mining. Then 2 donkeys spawned and I just welcomed them with so much kindness. Then a wandering trader spawned and I was so confused on why Veronica would look more manly than me. But she did have some decent emerald trades, so I kept her in a boat and took her close to the villager so he wouldn't feel lonely. Then this guy spawned and he had some serious anger issues. Bro saw me for a millisecond and decided to run the fade. I tried to escape with the ladder but he killed me. Then he just kept on killing me over and over and over and over and over again until I decided to lock in. Up until this moment, I did not know these guys would climb ladders, so I was like really surprised. Like, just look at the determination on that face. I was able to make a strategic retreat and I ran all the way to my villager platform. And now that I think about it, that was actually very dumb because he could have killed me here and went on to kill Harry. But luckily he didn't follow me. I went back to my house, collected my stuffs and made him learn that his actions have consequences. Then this black man spawned and I thought he was slick with his little crossbow, but I smacked him back to where he should be. Dead. After that I kept mining and this new man came back to say hi. I just let him roam the platform but he came to chill beside me while I was mining. Then this chest spawned and honestly thought something bad or ominous was about to happen, but nothing happened at all. It was just torch flowers and a silverfish spawn egg. After mining for a while, I decided to trade some water bottles with Man, voiceovers is so hard, man. After mining for a while, I decided to trade some water bottles with Veronica to get some emeralds. I made a bunch of water bottles, hoping to trade them all for some emeralds, but she only took 2 water bottles and decided she wasn't trading anymore. So I just come up for there, drink all the water bottle, make it no waste. I kept on mining for a while before this bull cow spawned and it kind of looked like doing the Rock Johnson. I gave it a little welcome pat on his back and went back to mining. I got another monster party and I ran away. I made a strategic retreat to my base and took out the ladders in case all those black-headed demons tried to infiltrate my base. I started by taking them out the James Bond style and I went down to finish it up Prince Otto style. This guy tried to jump me from my tree farm, but I took him out and in the process I ended up killing one of my axolotls. It was very painful, but I was proud of myself for surviving another monster party. I placed some more hoppers in my mob farm, kept on mining and I got another villager. I quickly took him to beat Henry, traded with this wandering trader I found in my tree farm, kept on mining and this time 2 black-headed demons spawned and took me out before I could escape. Make my strategic exits. I took them out with my arrows and just kept on mining until I got the next upgrade, which was the nether. Right off the bat, I knew I wouldn't enjoy this phase because it's the nether. The nether is all dark and smelly and it's basically just filled with sadness. Anyways, it just kept raining and I did that one vegetable meme I normally see online, but yeah, I make bad jokes so it wasn't really funny. Anyways, I shared some of my sheeps, made some beds and harvested some crops. If you can't already tell, it's time for Henry and Louise to make some babies. I don't know how they are going to do it, but yeah, I mean, this is Minecraft. Logic doesn't really apply here. I gave them their food and allowed them to have their moments. I then went to Itachi all of my sheep that didn't have wool on them, and I decided to stop being a coward and just start mining this one block. I also put on a golden boot just in case any piglins spawned. Then this random comment I thought it was funny and sat down where I was mining. Like, bro, there's plenty of space everywhere. I first of all confirmed that it wasn't Senior Man. I just smacked him out of the way. Not everything is a joke, little bro. Then this magma cube spawned and I took them out and everything was going smoothly until this wannabe hit blast spawned. Then shot a fireball at me. I started panicking and ran in, made a strategic retreat into my base. When I went outside, I noticed my house was on fire. I tried using water to stop it, but the fire kept spreading super fast and ended up destroying my base. When I saw a vest, light and one arrow outside, I didn't even care about his blaze rod anymore. I just wanted him dead. Luckily, my parrot was safe and I just carried my bed to my tree farm and slept there. Make fresh breeze blow my head first. I was also exhausted in real life and I just logged off and went to bed. The next day, I completely forgot to hit record button and I started repairing my base. I didn't realize it about like 20 to 30 minutes later. Thankfully, I haven't done much on the platform. All I really did was use cobblestone bricks to like make a little protection base. You know, the kind you see in Freedom Fighter or any of those war games. Then I placed water in a block that didn't burn to be able to access my chests. I kept on mining and I got my first ever ancient debris in Minecraft. I placed it in a chest and kept on mining. This hoglin spawned, but I quickly made it to my base and I took him out. I got tired of having to swim up every time I want to place stuffs in my chest. So I made another platform with cobblestone slabs and made it into like a little chest storage area. It was really painful just going back and forth, sorting the blocks into their respective chests, and it was looking really ugly, but hopefully I'm still going to try to like make it look better some other day. I then cleared up the remaining mess in my semi-base and went to bed. I kept mining and then a strider spawned. I took it out and it gave me strings. I did not know that striders gave strings when they die. Then the ghast spawned and it just started blowing up everywhere. I ended up taking it out with one shot and I got two advancements at the same time. I quickly stopped the fire from spreading, repaired the platform, and went to check on my villagers. I was expecting to have about 4 villagers because I gave them a lot of food and time, but they still haven't made any baby. I thought they didn't like potatoes, so I quickly got some wheat, made some bread, and gave it to them. I let them do their business, but no baby was spawning. I just assumed they needed more time, so I just left them. I placed water in this part of my base just in case I get set on fire by blazes, graded my mob farm, and then I went back to mining. After getting enough obsidian blocks, I made myself an enchantment table. My plan was to trade with a librarian to get paper that I can use to make bookshelves, but my villagers still haven't made any baby. I went back to mining the one block. A ghast spawned, but it didn't really do much damage. Some wither skeletons spawned and I took them out easily. I went online to look for solutions to make my villagers produce babies like the noob that I am. And the issue was basically the roof. The bed needs at least 2 block space above it before villagers can do their thing. And I only made it 1 block. I took down the roof, gave them some more food, and sure enough, a baby was born. I didn't have any use for Veronica anymore, so I thanked her for the 2 emeralds she gave me. I took some stores from my chest and used it to craft a lectern. I then made a little I made a little trading hall for the villagers and I placed Louise in it. I tried to trade emeralds for paper, but I found out that librarians trade paper for emeralds, not the other way around. I kept trying over and over and over again because I didn't want to buy their expensive bookshelves. I checked online and they told me cartographers trade emeralds for paper. And won't me believe, I crafted a cartographer's table and checked to see if it would trade, and yeah, you guessed it, they trade paper for emeralds. And so I used Vex to raid the cartographer table, climb bed, go sleep. I bought a cherry sapling from this wandering trader and thanked him for his service. I made a fletching table, but I don't have a spare villager. I was really tempted to buy the bookshelf, but I decided to be patient. I blocked it to get sugarcane in the chest. I went back to mining and then these brutes, I'll be waiting and they call them again. Anyways, they spawned. I locked him outside and I did not know that they were smart enough to open doors and he killed me. Thankfully, he morphed into a zombie piglin, so I was able to grab my stuffs and welcome him to the overworld. I then replaced the doors with planks. That way I can be able to block any brutes that try to attack me. I got a monster party and I knew things were about to get hot, but luckily for me, I'm hotter. Nah, I'm just kidding, I'm really troubled in real life. I'm like a repelling force for girls. Anyways, I managed to survive another monster party. Went to check on my villagers and man, Henry has been really busy. Bro would have made a whole community if he had more beds. I made this little barrier to guard the villagers and got a Fletcher. I accidentally punched him and he increased his price. Now for the guy itself, he has just increased price on top one small punch. I had an idea on how to reduce his price, so I went to my mob farm and brought a zombie to thank the Fletcher for increasing his price. After successfully getting the zombie Fletcher, I went to get the cure, but then it hit me. I had no way to make a weakness potion. Bro, I just stabbed him on the shoulder and gave Henry some more food to continue his business. I kept on mining the one block. A ghast spawned, nearly destroyed my entire platform and killed my parrot. If you ask me, I believe ghast deserve to stay in the nether. Very useless floating bubble of sadness. Anyways, I ended up stopping the fire and I replaced the wood with blocks that can be destroyed by fire, like diorite and andesite slabs. I also noticed my polar bear was gone, so I guess the ground must have burned and he fell into the void. It was sad to see him go, but he's in a better place now. I went back to mining and you guys did not see anything. I went back to mining and I continued until I got a chest with a lava bucket. I was really happy because now I could make a stone generator.
You don't have future here. You don't have future here.
Wait, all hope wasn't lost. I mined the block and grabbed the rest of my obsidian to test if I could go to the nether, but it turns out crying obsidian can't be used to make a portal. I was so disappointed in myself, so I just went back to mining. I ended up getting another chest with a lava bucket and I didn't mess it up this time. Now I'll never run out of stone again. Ended up grinding some cobblestones and then I decided to start working on my base since I had the means of getting stone now. I took down the mini base and smelted a bunch of cobblestones. I didn't like how the one block area looked, so I decided to decorate it a little bit. It wasn't perfect, but I like how the one block sit on the black stone, so I just left it there till I decided to decorate it again. I then started to replace the entire platform with cobblestone slabs. And in case you're wondering why it took so long doing this, it's because I kept running out of cobblestone slabs, so I kept going back to grind some more cobblestones. And iron golems started spawning in my village platform, so if I saw one, I would pat them on the head to get their iron. It was kind of like going on side quest inside a side quest. Then I made stone bricks and started working on my base. After I was done with the ground floor, I didn't really know how to finish up the house, so I just left it like that. The next day, I grinded the mob farm a little bit, took out a bunch of iron golems I found. I went back to mining the one block. I finally got an upgrade and I was super relieved to get past this nether phase. I did end up getting another chest with a bucket of lava and a bunch of netherite scraps, so it was a double win for me. The next phase was called Ideal, and at first I was confused on what it even meant, but they said a breeze of peace blew across the land, so I knew it was going to be sunshine and rainbow phase. I started mining and after some time a slime box spawned. If this was the whole slime box that spawned in this phase, there's no way I'm dying at all in this phase. I had an idea on how to decorate this phase, so I made quartz slab and tried to use it to like make the place look better. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it looks better than it did before. After mining for a while, some bees spawned. I tried trapping them with some leash, but they just flew under the platform. I was kind of bummed about it, but I knew I would get another one, so I kept on mining. Then this hungry looking horse spawned and I just freed him of his suffering and went back to mining. Some phantoms spawned and bruh, these guys are the worst. I ended up taking them out and I had another idea. Instead of using quartz slab, I believe quartz stairs would be better. So I replaced the quartz slab with quartz stairs. I then placed water on each of the stairs and bro, I like what I came up with. Not only does this slow down any hostile mob that try to attack me, but it also looks really nice, at least to me. I'm not really that type of guy that builds a lot in Minecraft, but I like what I did there. I used the quartz slabs to make some pathway connecting my base, my tree farm, and my food farm. After mining for a while, some bees spawned. I was able to use the leash to catch them and I just kept them in my tree farm. A bunch of angry bees spawned and at first I panicked and ran into my base, but I was like, pause, why am I running from bees? I think they realized I was locked in because they ended up flying far away. I got a chest with a creeper head and a mending book and I placed all the good stuffs in the chest. I then wanted to extend the quartz slab platform to my farm, but I didn't have enough slabs, so I didn't complete it. Then I used leaves to make the pathway look a bit better. I planted trees, took down the nether portal, and went back to mining. I then got the monster party, and for some reason I was expecting something tough, but it was just a bunch of angry bees and phantom. Easiest monster party so far. Nothing really exciting happened afterwards, so here's a summary of everything that happened for the rest of this phase. I saw a zombie horse for the first time in Minecraft and I showed it how excited I was to see it. I grinded the mob farm a little bit, I got more quartz slab and extended the platform to my tree farm. I made a modification to my crop farm so that I can use the leaves to decorate the platform, and I also made an extra plot in case I wanted to plant something else. I placed more cobblestone slabs to expand my platform, and finally I just kept mining till I got the next upgrade. The next upgrade was called the Desolate Land. The name sounded like something you'd hear in a movie like Mad Max. I had no idea of what to expect in this phase and I just began mining, but after seeing this block, I knew what was coming. There's no way I could take the warden on my own, so I immediately went to work. I grabbed a bunch of cobblestones, made a platform. The plan is to use iron golems to help me fight the warden, and to do that, I'll need a bunch of iron blocks. I tried using tutorials to build it, but it looked way too stressful and time consuming, so I just did it my way. Building this farm took me a really long time because I didn't use any tutorials for it, and I kept messing up over and over again. I remember the warden attacks other mobs as well, so I made a little barrier to protect the animals in the animal farm and the tree farm as well. Because time was going really fast and the iron farm was really slow, I decided to make do with just 2 iron golems, so I placed the blocks and went back to mining. I was so nervous that when cave spiders spawned, I immediately summoned the iron golems. I didn't want to be caught off guard. I kept on mining and then this block spawned. I'm not going to lie, I've never seen this block before, and my pickaxe was taking a very long time to break it. So if you know a more efficient way to break this block, please help a noob out and let me know in the comments. I kept on mining and the golems kept taking out any mobs that spawned. After mining for a while, this guy spawned, and I thought I could quickly take them out with my bow, but they were too much and I ended up dying. Not once, but twice. Luckily my golems took them out, and just like that, I got the totem. I dropped the totem in the chest, hit up my golems, and went back to mining. I then got the chest with sweeping edge 3, and I was happy because I can put it in my sword and I can grind the mob farm much faster now. And after mining for a really long time, what I predicted came to pass. The golems immediately went swinging and I started shooting him with my bow, but he took the golems out really quickly and I knew I was cooked. I'm going to stop talking now and just let you all watch the fight. Also, for some reason my laptop didn't record the in-game sound, and that's why you're not hearing the warden screech or any in-game sound effects. So yeah, I just thought you should know.
Hadouken!
I got this!
God help me now, God help me.
I can do this all day.
I didn't know how he got stuck there, but he gave me the advantage I need to beat him. I remembered my iron golems and honored them for their sacrifice. I had a feeling another warden might spawn, maybe in the next monster party, so I immediately went to get more iron to make more iron golems. I also wanted to get enchanted armor and tools. I'd already given up hope of getting sugarcane, so I got a fletcher to trade a bunch of sticks for emeralds that I can use to get some bookshelves. For some reason my iron farm stopped working and I didn't really know what the issue was, but I just assumed it was because I had too many villagers on the other side. So I had to politely tell the babies to leave. You guys didn't see me do anything horrible to them. The farm still wasn't working, so I just let the villagers rest for the night because they were exhausted. See, I'm not a horrible person. Come on, get back to work. There's no more for laziness here. And this makes the iron golems complete. What is left is the bookshelves. With the final bookshelf in place, I was finally able to enchant my stuffs. I summoned the iron golems, enchanted the rest of my armor, took a totem, made a few gapples, and went back to mining the OneBlock, feeling more confident than ever. Then the monster party happened and I was prepared for the worst. I was expecting at least 2 wardens and a bunch of evokers and cave spiders, but there was no warden, only an evoker, a bunch of cave spiders and skeletons, and these annoying bugs. For the first time, I was disappointed at the monster party I got. I went through all that struggle for nothing. I kept on mining the OneBlock until this homosexual chest was back, and it gave me this weird looking amethyst block. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it, but most importantly, I got the maze. This was the first time I've ever had a maze in Minecraft. After breaking the chest, I got another upgrade. I looked at the number of days I had left and I just decided to use it to make the island look good. But after seeing the next upgrade, I changed my mind. I decided to go defeat the Ender Dragon. I was confident I could defeat it before I reached the 100th day, so I began mining. After getting a bunch of obsidian, I decided to go check if I can get to the nether in one block. So I made the portal and sure enough, it lit up. I quickly checked out my spawn point and although it wasn't my favorite biome to spawn, I didn't complain. I showed the hoglins and the skeleton my new bow and I went back to the overworld. I took down the portal because I didn't want it in my tree farm. I was going to build a custom nether room some other day, but for now, I went back to mining the one block. I got the monster party and I already knew it would be a bunch of endermen and endermites, so I just stood with my sword. But the endermites kept pushing me back and I ran to my chest area. I honestly did not even know why I did that. They didn't do much damage and I even had a totem of undying. Sometimes I just made dumb decisions. Anyways, we took care of the mobs and I went back to mining. After mining for quite a while, something hit me. I did not know where the end portal would spawn. Two things came to my mind. Either I get the chest with the end portal blocks that I will build myself, or the one block just moves into the end portal, marking the end of all the phases. The second option didn't make any sense to me because I know for a fact that a cookie god didn't just do 100 days one block video. He did more than that, so the one block must have stayed. I didn't want to build the end portal in a random place, so I decided that I wasn't going to fight the Ender Dragon in this 100 days video. Instead, I was going to use the remaining 11 days to just make my platform look much better. I started by chopping down all my wood in my tree farm. Then I made a much better cobblestone generator, grinded some cobblestones, and went to work on my tree farm. At first, I wanted to make it a much bigger tree farm, but I decided to make it some sort of cherry bamboo garden for some of my animals to stay. I gave the pandas some bamboo, they made love, and you guys won't get what's happened next. I got a brown panda. I understand it's one of the rare mobs in the game, so getting it in my first try was really awesome. Anyways, I moved some of the animals into their garden and I went to work on the animal farm. And finally, I went to work on the food farm and the mob grinder. I honestly did not know how to make the mob grinder look good, mostly because I suck at building and I don't really think a mob grinder needs to be decorated. So if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. The next thing I wanted to do was to get a grass block and place it in my sheep farm. That way the grasses will spread and all my sheep can finally be able to eat it and grow some wool. So I grabbed the shovel, made my way to a villager platform, got another librarian, and although it took a while, I was finally able to get a sick touch book from him. I placed it on my shovel, grabbed the glass block and placed it on my sheep farm. I tried blocking it off so that the sheep won't eat it, but after checking online, I saw that it won't work that way. So I attached the sheep to that wool and moved the grass block to another place. And moved the grass block to another place, and sure enough, it started to spread. I spent the last day just watching the sunset, took one last look around my platform, and went to bed. Ladies and gentlemen, I officially made it to the 100th day in one block Minecraft. Here's what my platform looked like in day 0, and here's what it looks like in day 100. If you enjoyed this video, please like or subscribe, it will really mean a lot to me. Also, if you want me to make a 200 day one block video, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Take care and God bless.